He's here.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Thursday's version of the male voice. I said that wrong because I always say Thursdays belong to the male voice. But anyways, everybody, welcome. I hope you have had a wonderful day, and you're ready to get into this hot topic that we have for you tonight. I'm excited about it, and I got my compadres with me down here under my picture. I think on my screen, my picture is Mr. Jeremiah Rankins himself. How you doing, man?
Hey, good evening. I'm feeling really good. Just got off of a nap and I feel refreshed. You know what I'm saying? That senior citizen nap. So I'm feeling good.
I thought you were going to say I just got off of what you put in the chat. But yeah, man, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kermit Childs back fresh from 18 years of celebrating.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight?
Welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Thank y'all.
What's up, bro? One more person, y'all know him as DC, the comedian, and he's hosting Sebastian tonight.
What's up, everybody? Before we start, I have to say,
here we
man,
go.
Listen, I love my Thursdays. I love my male voice. I love my bruh so much. I wish y'all could see my ritual. Y'all better be glad y'all can just see me, because if you can smell me, y'all think I'm going to the club. Well, I get fresh up in here. I put on fragrance.
Get fresh to death.
I get fresh just to be on camera. But I get lotion down. I get smelled up. My watch on. My little no fragrance. I got that bourbon. I got that bourbon on the smelling good.
That bourbon is good, man. That bourbon is good.
I enjoy my time with my bros. Real talk.
Hey man, you ain't the only one. I do the whole thing. Like, what you wearing? I'm wearing Tom Ford tonight. Can't smell it, but that's what I'm wearing.
I got bourbon.
I'm wearing Invictus tonight.
See?
Okay.
Let me hold a couple dollars. Let me hold a couple dollars.
Yes. I got Bath and Body Works in Bourbon on me, so I saw 15.99. So that's all I got.
Hey, listen.
Hey.
Kermit's wife was in Neiman's Marcus the other day, so ain't no telling what he wearing. You know what I'm saying?
No. Look, we were just, as they say, window shopping. Did you see them shoes, man?
Man, $60 for the run over shoes.
No, $600.
600. They were ugly.
They were basically shoes that are like weathered and worn out. They're faded. The rubbers got wear on them. Basically, it's like they're selling shoes that somebody has used and wore them out, and they selling it. It's like it's a style, I guess.
It's
like,
a style, but guess what else is a style? I'm gonna let you loose in just a second, all right?
Yeah.
The views and opinions of this panel are merely that. Our personal views and opinions, our subject matter or points should not be taken as paid legal or medical advice. And we therefore bear no claims to a scheduled and or licensed consultation of any kind. So anything that you do that DC tells you to do is on your own. Don't call us anything. So you got to watch him and Sebastian. Them boys is wild.
Oh, yeah, they wild.
Now we're about to get ready to jump into the discussion. Why don't you go ahead and share this broadcast or tag somebody in it and tell them come check out the Male Voice. We appreciate you. And after every show, we always get good feedback from you, whether it's by inbox or something or on the post. We always get good feedback. And so we appreciate that. So go ahead and tag somebody. Let us know that you're watching. So look, here's the deal. I don't know how we're going to do this. Maybe I'll get with some kind of way, figure it out. The person that tags the most people, we're going to send you a gift. And here's a hint. We're going to make sure you have a ticket to the live recording of the Male Voice.
Yes, hottest ticket in town, baby.
You're going to get a ticket to the live recording of the Male Voice. Tonight, we're talking about moving on without you. Moving on without you. That means somebody's getting left behind. So, into it, fellas, y'all ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
All right.
Sebastian ready.
Okay, let's go to the doctor's office first. What does that statement mean to you, Jeremiah, moving on without you? What does it say to you just from inception?
So it means that you are making a conscious decision. You're making a conscious decision to move forward. When you say moving on, you're moving forward. And so I talk about this in my private practice where sometimes when you go to the next season of your life, you got to leave some people behind. You got to think about it.
Right.
You've got high school friends. You've got high school friends. You love them to death. Ain't nothing really happened between the two of you. Y'all just kind of fell off. It's because you went to another season in your life. Whether it was your college, it was the military, it was the next season, and you just had to leave some people behind. But there are some people that we keep in life. You know, they've been in our lives since the 12th grade, since we were 5 years old.
Right.
They're part of they're part of you. But we leave behind. And so when we move on without you, intimate relationships, look here, you got to leave them behind.
Yep.
All right, that's good. DC, what does it mean to Sebastian when he hears the word moving on with?
After a bad loss like this weekend, you got him.
Shut up. We're not going to talk about that. We are not going to. Jeremy.
Gotta move on, man.
All right. Now, Sebastian say, Jeremiah, forget you. Anyway, Sebastian said, real simple, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. It's over. I gotta go.
Just like that.
It's like that.
No ifs, ands, buts about it.
Moving on.
Okay. KC. As soon as you read the words moving on without you, what does that mean to you?
That means, look, if you stuck, I'm not destined or designed to be stuck in the same place. I'm constantly moving, constantly trying to progress. And if you're not moving, I'm moving on without you. If you're not in forward progression, we can't go where, you going a whole nother way, or you sitting still. I'm trying to get somewhere.
I understand. So we've all kind of related it to thus far relations to people.
Right.
Moving on from situations, here's the gist of it. You can be stuck in a situation, not recognizing that life is still moving on without you.
Without you.
And yet you're there, stuck in that situation. It could be the pain of a situation. It could be the hurt, which are two different things of a situation, but you're stuck there. You're stuck in a situation, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically, whether it's emotionally, you're stuck there, and life itself is still moving on without you.
Yeah.
I realize it 15, 20 years later that, hey, I've been stuck in the same spot, and life has just kept moving. How about that?
I still got these same Chuck Taylors on, and they had about 5, 6 other brands on, and I'm still the same old ragged ass Chuck Taylors. Life has moved on.
It's moving on.
When we put the verbiage in the promo, we talked about we'll keep you people move on from hurt. What about moving on from something that's positive? In my opinion, even if it's positive, you can't stay, okay, you know how you meet men and say, man, we won the school championship in my high school, and you ain't been in high school in 40 years.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
you're stuck in the past.
That are highlights that you still have to move on from, because how can you get another highlight if you're still stuck in that highlight?
Back in my day, I used to.
Yes. I had a woman for every period. I had them coming out the ear. I had them on every corner. You got this one raggedy woman you got been having for the last 15 years.
The last 15 years.
You still want to go back to how many women you was pimping in high school?
One highlight.
Yeah.
One highlight. What else is, and I'm going to jump Churchy here for a second. I'm going to steal your tag for a second, Kermit. What else has God done for you lately? How you still same testimony from 20? And listen, you ought to definitely give God thanks and praise for that testimony. But what has he done for you lately? You've been stuck in high school when you got the ball to kick it at the last 50-yard line or something. So life in itself moves on without you. So look, 2020 has been crazy.
Yeah.
2020 has just been crazy. But here's one thing that 2020 will do. It's going to move on with or without you.
That's right.
So what about that? We got to talk about those things tonight. We're going to talk about some stuff about how to let go. You got to let go.
Yeah.
There's a question that came in, and we'll talk about those in a minute. Hey, Marlena Mack, how you doing, Marlena? Moving on is refusing to be stagnant. That's another word for you, DC. Stagnant.
Stagnant. Stagnant means when.
What's stagnant mean?
When you rub your hands on the carpet and it cut half the static off, it's stagnant.
You should have stagnant, not static. Maybe you think it's static. That clearly says you haven't done anything else positive. When you're still stuck on those old things from years ago, you just stuck. You just there.
It's there.
Hey, Kim, how you doing? Kim is a Detroit native. Thanks for checking in. Hello, gentlemen. Time waits on no man. Progression in every aspect of your life is necessary, be it spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or physically. Who told you to be that smart? You too smart, or no?
She in Detroit. She's stuck in all that snow, so she done found big words and big things to do in the house.
Because she's stuck in the house.
Yeah.
Kim, you going in Detroit? So let's get into it. I'm gonna jump into some of these questions that have come in and stuff like that, and we'll just roll how we typically roll it. Again, I'm inviting all of you to invite somebody else so you can share this on the page. And if you don't like how it turned out, you can go back and erase it. But tell somebody you're watching the Male Voice. I see Johnny O. White has checked in, man. Good to see you. Good to hear you. Good to know you're on. He may be checked in at work still, but
he's working.
You know, that's how the rich stay rich. First question is it possible to renew yourself in the eyes of your mate while in the same relationship? Definitely has something to do with moving on. Is it possible to stay to renew yourself? Hang on, I'll get back.
Is it possible to renew yourself?
To renew your own self while you're in a relationship. Here it is.
Yeah.
Is it possible to renew yourself in the eyes of your mate while in the same relationship, which means you've grown, but they're going to stay keeping you in the same place so they can see your newness? Is that possible?
So real quick,
Kermit says you looking crazy face. What you got?
Well, I'm trying to completely understand the question because it says, "Is it possible to renew yourself in the eyes of your mate?" Or are they saying in front of your mate? Is that what that means?
Right, in the eyes of your mate. Can you actually renew yourself while you're in a relationship with somebody who's seen another side of you?
So basically, completely change for the better, right? Renew to completely change.
That's what I'm thinking.
For the better. So renew is it's very convoluted because you've got a spiritual renew.
Convoluted.
You've got a spiritual, and then you've got emotional. I don't want to dig too deep into what.
Right.
Come on, Reverend.
I will say that every 7 years people change. Every 7 years people change. Yeah. So So you may.
I must be broke then, because I've been the same fool all my life. I'm 45.
I change every 7 minutes.
Well, yeah.
So rather it's physically, so your body, rather it's politically. Maybe you felt one way about abortion, and now you feel totally different, and you're strong and really bullheaded on the issue. Total opposite end. People change, and every 7 years that happens. Typically, it happens.
It should happen. And if you haven't changed, if you're the same person you were 5 years ago, something's wrong.
Might.
Right.
You should be changing and evolving. But I guess with this question, is it possible to renew yourself in the eyes of your mate while in the same relationship? I'm thinking maybe they're saying your mate is in the same place, but you have grown, you are renewed, you are moving forward, but they still stuck. You're in the same relationship, but they're stuck.
Here's a good explanation. Let me go to some of our things real quick. Sandra Nolan. Hey, Sandra, thank you for watching again. We appreciate you. Sandra says, yes, you can. So you can change. Here's a good explanation. I think I'm pronouncing this right. Nakibia. Nokia.
Nokia.
They ain't no Nokia, boy. It's Nokia. Not unless they are open to your change to begin with. That's key. You can want to change for the better. You can be bettering yourself, but if that person that you're with is only able to see who you were, they're not open to seeing who you are or who you can become. Watch this one. Same person, not about your intention, but rather them changing their perspective of you. Somebody, church lights and walls. Sandra says again, spiritually and financially and mentally. So I guess you can change spiritually, financially, and mentally.
Renewed.
Says being in a long-term relationship, you have to renew to keep the relationship fresh. I think renewing is a part of growth. I like that comment.
Very good, Elaine. Very good.
I like that comment.
It's a man named President Donald Trump. He had to renew his relationship real quick because he about to be hitting the road pretty soon. So
yeah, he just won't move on, but life is gonna move on.
There you go. He's stuck.
I'm moving on.
Hey, Miss Lady Dub, we appreciate you again. You and your husband always check in every week, and we appreciate you. Thank you. She says, hubby and I divorced in 2017. Okay, well, yeah, all right. He and I both allowed God to renew us and begin to each other as God sees us.
Begin to see each other. Probably meant begin to see each other as God sees us.
Right. To see each other as God sees us. Now we are remarried and restored.
Okay, good.
Right?
That's really good.
That's good.
Sometimes you have to break up to make up. Isn't that a song?
That's it. I'm gonna go break
That's
up my wife.
John White, he's typing us, and John says the problem is the mate. If they choose to hold on to your past, there is nothing you can do about it. Okay, if a mate chooses to hold on to your past, there's nothing you can do about. Is it, Pastor Kermit? Are you supposed to stay in that situation when you've changed? You've clearly thought that you needed to do something better, so you put in the work to do something better, but they just will not see it. Let me hear from you. How do you feel about that? What do you do at that point?
Well, I am a firm believer of sticking and staying and working and also understanding that sometimes you can't make anyone, you can't make them do anything, you can't make them see what they don't see or don't choose to see, but your job is to be constant, keep moving forward, and love them in spite of. It doesn't say that you just jump ship because, well, they don't see me like I see myself. Well, that doesn't mean I just jump out and say, well, I'm gonna find somebody that see me like I want to be seen. You keep being you. That's where prayer comes in. That's where better or worse comes in. Those vows that you made.
Yes.
And that's where you seek counseling and you do your best to try to show the change that you've made, but you can't force them. You can't force them to.
Sagittarius pray for the change in that mate.
And like Kermit,
right.
And like Kermit and Sam just saying, prayer, and you can't just jump ship. Just stick to your vows, and when times get hard, you just stay in there and don't just jump
guys.
ship.
The answers are good, but you're digging into my other questions that came in. So,
I think Jeremiah, the doctor was trying to say something.
So,
you trying to get on that?
Yeah, the best way for me to explain stuff is to give examples. And so the best example that I can give on this one is my mom and dad. So my mom was really into the church, in the word, like tough, real tough. And my dad, not so much. He would work nights, and his excuse was, his reasoning for not going to church was, I worked all night, I'm tired. So he went to church first 14, 15 years of my life. And my mom continued to pray. Every time she went to church, she continued to pray.
Steadfast.
And she would tell us, and she would believe, I believe God is going to change my husband. And so it was towards the end when I was getting out of the house where my dad completely renewed, changed, became a deacon in the church every Sunday. And he just became more involved, and he prays and he reads the Bible on his own. So I do believe in change, and I do believe that a partner should pray, because ultimately it's that triangle. The two are at the bottom trying to get closer to God. And so I think there's a good example of a marital relationship.
DC, I hope that wasn't a heart you was just putting up, because
that was triangle. He said triangle.
I was going to say, because it showed didn't look nothing like a heart. Let's see what Erica Gary says. Erica Gary says, which is why you have to be on the same mindsets when choosing a mate. I think two people can go into a relationship thinking stifled, but if they're both open to progression in all aspects, it works. That's very good comment, and we appreciate you for it. I'm going to next question. Next question says, this has nothing to do with moving on, but because we share stuff that comes to the Mill Voice, let's talk about it. We're going to bop around, and we'll be right back. Next person says, Shannon says, Lakewood Church received $4.4 million from the government. Or greed? Osteen himself is worth $100 million. Weigh in, somebody. Talk about it.
Yeah. She put her name. She wants you to know who she is.
She said you can share my.
Hold on. All
right, so listen. Can I touch on something before we get into this? Okay, let's touch on this real quick. So, and this may not be even for Miss Shannon Jackson, but historically, poor people or lower income communities, we have held grudges against the rich. So I want you all to dig deep in your subconscious. I want y'all to dig deep and think, do you have a bias against the rich, and why? That's first and foremost. So, hey, Joel Osteen, you're extremely wealthy. You own a church. Like, are you supposed to? Are you supposed to be wealthy? So why do we have that bias? Why do we have those feelings?
I have no problem with him himself being wealthy. I do have an issue with if being in ministry, if I pastored a church, and myself knows, I'm sure Kermit knows, most of the times when you're starting up a church or taking a smaller church, a lot of those finances come from your pocket.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
If you have a multi-million-dollar facility like Lakewood, why would you go get 4.4 when you got 100 million sitting in the bank?
Okay, hold on.
Well, that is 100. That's how much he's worth. That doesn't mean he got that much money.
That's not how much he has in his pocket. Now, 4.4 million. That's the church. The church
that's including what he's worth.
He's worth 100 million.
Right.
That's not saying what he has. You know, that's his books. That's his whatever he goes and whatever. But the 4.4 million that the government gave Lakewood is for the church to keep operational. He has a staff that wasn't working. So he paid his staff that wasn't working, insurance, keep the lights on, get the restroom clean, all that stuff while COVID is going on, or even before COVID. So 4.4 million might not even be enough. He has a big staff. So what? Give the church the money to keep it going.
To acknowledge your statement, DC, when that came in, I did check, and the staff is 368 people.
Okay.
4.4 million probably is not quite enough for a staff of 368 people. At the same time, I'm actually kind of torn on it because while they should not consider his personal money, church's money, at the same time, I myself wouldn't watch my church go under. Not that I'm saying that he did or would. At the same time, I'm looking at, okay, everybody still got to eat. Everybody still has bills. Everybody still has to do all of this. However, he's under scrutiny for getting the money. He's under the scrutiny of they feel like he's taking that money away from people who actually need it.
See,
one thing to realize is that he's not taking the money to Lakewood. He's taking the money to the individuals of Lakewood who still have bills and stuff.
Okay, some of these folks who get mad at churches and pastors have not grown up with a pastor or church, and they just see that the church took this much money, and the pastor's driving this, and the pastor look like this, and he stays like this. Do you know what that pastor has to go through to do all that? A lot of time that stuff is given to him, is donated to him, or whatever. And pastors, my grandfather gave before we even got stuff.
Listen, we all hear DC preaching tonight. What's his?
No, because
DC, he's passionate about that, man.
That's something about people in churches and pastors. It gets me because I raised with a grandfather as a pastor, and I seen what he did and what went in his pockets and what he took out to people, and what came in my uncle, my grandfather. So that 4.4 million is not enough. He's worth 100 million. That's not what he have in his pocket. And the man wear the same little suit. He's driving a little car. He ain't got no this and that. Leave him alone.
Can I say something about it? I really, because I didn't know the angle of where this, I didn't know what the money was for. I just saw the question. You got $4.4 million from the government. Now, again, I was looking at that blankly, didn't know where that was from or what it was for. I look at grants, I look at all sorts of things, things that are going out of the church, whether it be homeless ministry, there's a whole lot of things that money could be used for. Me just face value. I don't know. I'm hearing from you guys that it obviously must have been payroll protection or something. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't have a problem with the church receiving that. That's a large church. That is one of the largest churches in America as it relates to membership and as it relates to people. And I'm a firm believer. Large churches have large expenses, just like
Absolutely.
So therefore, you kind of you weigh out what's needed for that particular purpose. And going into what DC says, me as a pastor myself, I have to understand. I never saw in scripture where God told us to make a vow of poverty. And ultimately, we are supposed to, the scripture says, live an abundant life. That means have all needs supplied, as well as I need to have something to be able to be a blessing to somebody else, as also representing God's kingdom. Not to say that I got to be in a Bentley, but if I work personally. I'm bivocational. So whatever I get, should be what I get because I work just like the next person. So whatever I desire to have, but I believe many times people don't see what pastors give and what churches give as much as they think about what's coming in.
They
So,
don't.
hold on,
They
hold
don't.
on,
Jump to some of these comments real quick. And
hold on, real quick. Let me jump in real quick.
hold on, because we got too much time here. We're gonna have to move in just a second. I like it, and we'll come back to it. I promise you'll come back to it.
Okay.
Ursula, hey Ursula, how you doing? They had to pay
Baby.
staff. Lakewood has 368 staff. COVID hit, and when your congregation, that means they had to pay staff. Marlena says exactly what DC just said, which I don't know what DC says. You lady says that's a large staff.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Wheeler Church is still helping others.
All the time.
And,
I'm there all the time.
Where'd it go?
And they build it.
And the next one, Ruth Jackson says that's between him and God.
Come on, Ruth. Come on,
Ursula
Ruth.
says, when your congregation is not coming to church, sometimes tithes and offering
Go down.
sometimes tithes and offering drop.
They do. It ain't sometimes.
Kira, I think I'm pronouncing your name right. Is it Kira or Kyra? Guillory. She says, "I'm wrong with it. I'm glad he got it. I think it may be enough, but I believe he will do great things with it." Let's see. Lady again. Hey,
right.
lady. Standing is that he doesn't even take a salary from his church.
Come on, Miss Child. Come on, Miss Child.
Different. Okay.
Yeah. You got to remember. Yeah, he doesn't take a salary from his church. I don't take one from my church. So I mean, a lot of times people look at that the wrong way. Because they're not on the inside. They really don't know what's really going on, what's really happening, what has gone from our pockets.
My thing is too. People judge the bad pastors with the good pastors. Pastor that's done some things that wasn't right, but we don't judge that. Let God handle that. So if you try to you give, that's you. Okay, do what you have to do and move on. What that pastor do, that's between him and God. But that
Rashida
you get
says it's none of my business.
You get
my business is to make sure that I tithe. Period.
There we go. Come on now.
Ursula's gonna close this question out because we're gonna move. Ursula says, "I don't understand why people question what pastors have, but yet people want nice homes, cars, and increase in their bank accounts." Ursula, preach well. Let's see.
Ain't nobody questioning what Trippie Redd is driving and where he living. Ain't nobody questioning where 50 Cent live, how he drive, where. But at the end of the day, when it comes to church or to ministry, they feel like if let's look at it. If your pastor is poor, how can he help you?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna listen to him and you ain't gonna respect him.
You're not gonna respect him, and you're not gonna. If your pastor working at McDonald's flipping burgers, how much respect will you have for your pastor if you a nurse?
It depends on how many burgers he slide out that window when I come through.
Long as he bless that burger.
This next question. This next question is:
burger, give me no pickles.
Sometimes it's not healthy to move on because you are not completely healed.
Wow.
He says, all right, jump on that.
Wait, sometimes it's not healthy to move on because
sometimes it's not healthy to move on. Let me see. How do I get Ursula's comment down? Y'all bear with me. Y'all know I'm the technical
I thought she said that
person as well. Here we go. Sometimes it's not healthy to move on because you are not completely healed. Jada Ray says. That's gonna be you, Jeremiah. What you got?
Man, I'm really still on this money issue.
Jeremiah ain't left that money, man.
Come back.
I like what Jeremiah said about that money in the beginning. The bias that sometimes we have for those who do have money.
And KC's still trying to go back to it.
I'm sorry, that thing is,
We'll come back. I tell you what, we'll come back and we'll have some pastors who see it from both sides.
Sometimes it's not healthy to
don't agree with or like prosperity preaching, but we'll come back to that. We'll come back. Okay. We'll come back.
So when you're talking about you're not completely healed, it sounds like there's some unresolved feelings and issues there. You're not moving on. You're not completely moving on. You may be trying to hold on to some things. Hope that a bad relationship, a toxic relationship. So to move on because you are not completely healed means there's unresolved issues, and you may be holding on to some things.
And my suggestion to you before we move from this, I want you to seek a counselor and have some therapy. Therapy is good. Everybody say it with me. If you don't mind
Therapy,
comments, therapy is
Therapy
good.
is
therapy is
good.
good.
Therapy is good.
We have to get away from the stigmatism that I can't do therapy or everybody gonna know my business or whatever. Therapy
Therapy is good.
good. All right. So
Yeah.
seek therapy. And if you don't have connection with a therapist, I have one for you
Therapy
right here.
is
His name is Jeremiah Rankins, and you can reach him at
Minor to Major LLC, www.minortomajortx.com. Info is in the website.
And I'm
reach
getting
out
my
to
license.
Jeremiah.
I'm getting my license tomorrow in the mail from Amazon to start having therapy.
When you do move on, when you do decide to move on, when those feelings and emotions are not processed, you bring that junk, that toxicity to the next relationship, and then it starts a bad pattern.
What that word mean, DC? Toxicity. What is that?
Toxicity means when you've been drinking and you can't walk that line and you're in a different city. Toxicity.
Toxicity. Okay. Well, here's the next one. Does mental count? Because I have moved on mentally from my relationship, but not physically. Mental moving on count.
Ooh.
KC.
Does it count? I mean, it's a very real thing. You can mentally move on, even though you're physically in a particular place. It's just like someone has a emotional affair. They moved on mentally. They still sitting there at the house, but emotionally they're somewhere else. So it does count. People move on in their mind and in their emotions and in their.
So check this out.
Let's talk about sex.
I'm not being rude to cut you out, but you're a preacher, so I gotta cut you off sometimes because y'all.
No, cut me off.
Listen. Marlena says moving on doesn't mean you have to get into a new relationship.
No.
Real good. Moving on doesn't mean you have to get into a new relationship. I think the question I first have to ask, y'all, I've been busy, so I didn't reply to these people to ask them questions. But the first question that pops in my mind is, what are you moving from? Is it just a relationship or a marriage? It's two completely different things when it comes to the mindset of moving on. Because if you are married, moving on should not be an option for you.
Right.
A relationship, moving on is an option for you so that you can get what your heart desires. But if you're married, moving on is not a checkbox on the list, as far as I'm concerned.
Amen. It's not.
Sometimes my wife move on mentally when I make her mad. So she be here, but she don't be here. So I think she be mentally then moved on.
Good for her. Good job, Ursula. Here's the next one. The next one is, this is going to be a tough one. You ready? I'm sure you remember me. I decided to tell my kids about my choice to live an alternative lifestyle.
Yes.
Y'all remember her?
Yes, we remember her.
She said, yes, I went through the tears and the mad, but how do I get them to move on?
Move on.
So they're upset that she told them her choice, but she feels like they've not accepted it. So she wants to see how to get them to move on.
I don't remember, y'all. I don't remember.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you.
You don't remember her?
She the one who had the long lengthy stuff about her husband. She divorced her husband because he's dating a man. Now she's dating a woman, and she see gay tendencies in her daughter or kids or something. Remember?
Right.
We hit that. But let me tell you something. Right. You're going to have to just deal with it.
That may have been with Jeremiah. I think Jeremiah may have been out of town on that one.
Okay.
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
I think if you're comfortable with your decision and you can live with it, you might just have to just keep on going. And eventually, they might accept it or just love you, but mentally, be gone.
I don't think there's a might to it because you can't walk off from the kids. Even though you also mentioned the last time you wrote into us that you did not want to live that lifestyle in front of them.
She went to it.
Now that you are so-called out of the closet or have shared it, you don't care about living that life in front of them. I think you need to reconsider. This is going to sound really, really bad. However, this is the male voice. You got to figure out what's important. What's important to you. And you're going to have to deal with those consequences that come within. Because you are going to get mad. I think the emotions that they're showing, help me out, Jeremiah, but I think the emotions that they're showing is just because I love you. And I don't know if I can see you in that light. So, I don't think it's kind of like you seem still straddle the fence to me.
She on it. She like this.
Say, make your decision and live with it. Living with it, though, is going to come with some headaches.
I think I talked about change and how human beings naturally we don't like change. We cannot. We're just not naturally good at adjusting to COVID-19. Not good with change.
Right.
A heavy breakup. We're not good with change, and so your children to have attachments at an early and young age to your ex-husband or partner, whoever that was, they're not good with change. Him leaving the home, you dating other people, the alternative lifestyle that you identified, not good with change.
And I think that you telling them is just so that you could feel comfortable about parading that type of lifestyle in front of them.
Or maybe the partner, is like, I'm coming into the home. Yep, and yeah.
Yeah. Let's read a couple comments. Ms. Lady Dub says, hubby and I had to move on from past hurts and resentments in order to be restored. Moving on was hard, but necessary. That was on the last
it's gonna be hard.
Marlena says, she says, hell, she just told him a few weeks ago. Now moving on from something that drastic takes time. It's a process. That's right. 100% correct. She did just tell him a couple of weeks ago, so they hadn't really digested it good yet.
How old are the kids? How old are the kids?
She told us the last time, and I don't remember. She told us the last time, but none of them, I don't remember any of them being above like 15.
Oh, wow.
If I remember.
That's gonna hurt.
Right, they were young.
Okay.
Right. Sandra says she needs to think of the future. Eladia says that would be difficult, and it's unfair to feel like they should just move on. I agree. It takes time and processing. Some people processes are longer than others, and she has to be patient. Kim says 4 C's: choices, change, challenges, and consequences. I'm gonna read it again. She says 4 C's: choices, change, challenges, and consequences.
Hey, Kim,
right that I share this, that we had a viewer, after we talked about her on our show, we had a viewer reach out and offer to help her pray through her situation.
Sure did.
Right.
And I presented that to her, and she says, I don't want to talk to nobody about my life.
Oh.
That's not to drag you, because nobody knows who you are but myself. It's not to drag you in front of people who are watching the show, but you can't deny help and then say, I won't help.
Right.
Which is kind of sort of what's going on here.
As well as the fact that it was clear that she was not content. Basically, it's like saying, I see my children headed toward drugs, and I don't want them to do drugs. I see them headed toward drugs, but I know drugs are not good. I don't want them to do drugs, but I'm going to do drugs. And then I'm going to tell my kids I'm doing drugs, and they need to accept that I'm doing drugs. But yet, and I know that sounds funny, but I'm saying because last on that particular Male Voice show, her statement was, I see my daughters have the same tendency. I don't want them to do this. Right. So it lets me know in your heart and in your mind or in your spirit, you feel like this is not a right lifestyle. Exactly. I don't want them to go into this lifestyle, but yet now you've jumped out there and said, okay, I'm finna just let them know this is what it is. Mama's doing this. And then you want them to jump into accepting something that you didn't even want to accept yourself.
She's not actually accepting herself. She's
right.
But at the same time, these children aren't, and they're getting really confused. I see these kids in psychiatric hospital, behavioral health hospitals. They come into the hospital confused on their sexuality and who am I attracted to. And so, she may be open for the children and deciding whatever they want to do with their sexuality. Here's
the thing. But I'm going to leave you with Sandra's statement on your topic. I'm going to leave you with Sandra's statement, and I'm going to invite you to reach out to me again if you want some help, and we'll connect you with somebody to help you walk through your situation and your circumstance. But With that said, Sandra closes this session out, says, allow God to guide you. Simple and cut. Allow God to guide you for the answer that you seek. Next question I have, DC.
That's my thesis. That's my thesis of my graduation class for my being a counselor. So she can call me.
Is moving on a sign that you don't care?
No, it's not a sign that you don't care. Because you can move on.
Stick with that. Stick with that. Then we'll come back for the elaboration. Give me a one-word answer, Pastor Childs. One word. Is moving on a sign that you don't care?
No.
Jeremiah, is moving on a sign that you don't care?
No.
Okay, so now speak to it. Let's go, DC. What you got?
It's not a sign you don't care because I can care, and I care. I'm trying to make it better for me and you because the situation we in is toxic. Oh, that boy said toxic. Yes, I did say toxic. I said toxic. So moving on, and what we have right now is bad. So let's move on. And I care about you because if I stay here any longer, I'm gonna put this 9 in your mouth or whatever. So I care that I don't whoop your. There we go.
Check this out. Marlena hit it on the head. Marlena Mack says, not at all. Moving on is a sign that you care about yourself, which hits it on the head. Then I like Tisha's.
Yeah.
It's a sign that I'm done. Moving on is not a sign that you don't care because I could care. Everything that, how do I say it? The old people you said a certain way. Just because you care doesn't mean you have to be there.
Right.
Mia says this. Hey, Mia, good to see you again. Mia says no, but it's a sign that you have had enough.
Enough, Mia. Come on, Mia. Come on, Kid.
Mary says, moving on is not a sign I don't care. It is a sign I care about self.
All right,
Mary. Right? Listen, we're going to get DC's cash up so y'all can sow seeds. Let's see, where did Mercy, DC, you heard what your lady said.
All right,
DC said that 9. He said he go put that 9.
Carolyn says moving on is a sign of growth. I agree with you, Carolyn. I agree. Right? So, real quick, we're going to move on. Let's give a one-word answer to this question. Let's go Kim again with a whole paragraph. Let's give a one-word answer to this question, then we're going to move on. Is moving on a sign that you don't care? Yes or no? Hit me up. Moving on a sign that you don't care.
Where answer it?
Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments.
Is moving on a sign that you don't care? Moving on is necessary to heal. It's hard to heal where the pain is. Moving on, the sign of apology, acceptance, forgiveness is given. So come on, thank you, Mary. She shot us a no. Real quick, yes or no? Is moving on a sign that you don't care? No. Mary says no. Sam says no. I guess everybody else is just typing slow. Ruth says no. Vanessa says no. You gotta do what you got to do. Hope says no. Hey, Hope. Mia says no. Ashley says no.
Mike.
What's up, Mike? Good to see you, bro. Says no. It's not a sign. Says no. Okay. So the answer to that question, if you're watching, is moving on a sign that you don't care? The answer is no. Catherine says no. Carolyn says no. Edward says no. Thank you all for participating. Let me tell you what's next. Here's the next one that I think is more of a statement than it is a question, but I know DC is going to jump all over this. The writer says, if Trump ain't moving on, then I'm not.
If Trump ain't moving on, they're not.
Yeah. If Trump ain't moving on, then I'm not.
Trump is going.
Trump ain't got no choice, bro.
He ain't got no choice.
But listen, I think that's pretty crazy how the presidency has so much power that he can say something and he gonna have followers to back him up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's scary. Scary.
That's very scary. Very scary. Check this out. I moved on from my job of 22 years to explore my dream, and I love it. I'm just trying to inspire someone.
Okay, I wish you could tell what your dream was.
I wish you would have did it earlier than 22 years. But more power to you.
Right.
Yeah. He or she finally decide to move on. I wish you can tell me what your dream is so we can elaborate and say that that's good. Because if 22 years at like Shell Station or like Shell Oil Company, and now you want to be a stripper I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You chase your dream.
That's their dream.
You probably shouldn't move on.
That's their dream. That ain't your dream. That's their dream, though.
No, but that's their dream. But you went from Shell Oil Company making, I'm gonna say, 200,000 plus with the. You have a parking spot. You have your office. Now you're gonna share a room with 6 other girls dripped up in baby oil and like that. Well, just tell us
what if their dream was social work or something that paid a quarter of?
He ain't smart. He
but that's good.
So here's the question, DC. You're gonna get the first answer on this one. This is a yes or no question. Then we're gonna talk about her comments. The question is there a time that a child should move on from his mother? And if so, how do I break that to him without breaking him? That's loaded right there. That's loaded. So let's answer the first question first. First question, y'all, I need a yes or no in the chat. The first question is there a time that a child should move on from his mother? Yes or no? Is there a time that a child should move on from his mother? What you got, DC?
Yes. Get off of it. Get off.
Jeremiah, what you got?
Get up off of it.
Yes. What does moving on mean? What is?
Hold on. Yes or no? KC.
Yes.
Yes, there is a time the child should move from his mother. Okay. What does the audience say? Let's see.
Get off that mama nipple.
Says yes. Okay, let's talk about that. There is a time that a child should move on from his mother. When is that time?
When he gets married.
When he gets married. Okay, what if he doesn't get married?
When he grown.
What's considered grown?
When is that?
Listen, my wife had a friend who when their son turned 18 years old, in the husband's family, that boy had to go.
You gotta go.
He turned 18 years old in the middle of a school year. He had to go.
You got to get out.
Now, he went to his grandmama's house, his uncle, I forgot where he went, but he had to get out of that house there. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool. That's how his father was raised and it was passed down. I think a boy should not linger on his mom and get off that. I think about maybe 12 or 13 or maybe 10 to 9 years old or maybe sooner.
You know, I'm going to say this, and I'm sure she's going to write me back and fuss at me because I know the lady that sent this question, but I'm just going to say it. This puts you in perspective because you know if that child is mature enough to be out of your house and off your wing. And if that child is not mature enough, I think you may have failed some steps along the way. Because the goal is to raise the children so that they can be self-sufficient and on their own. So if since it's a he, if he is not self-sufficient and ready, and I just happen to know that he's well in his 20s. I wouldn't say as high as 25, but I know he's in his 20s.
And she's still holding on to him?
And he's a mama's boy.
But okay,
he's at the point he's trying to break that.
Learn from the eagle. Look, they take care of their young. They feed them, they do that, and then you know what they do? They grab some bad boys, they fly up real high, and just say, wow.
There you go.
And if you don't fly and flap, if you hit that ground, that's all on you. But they know it's in you to fly. You were designed to fly, but you will never fly unless I get you out the nest. I can't let you sit here in the nest. How you gonna ever learn?
So we're going to talk about the second half of this question. Edward has a really nice thing to say. He's at a certain age. This is where the father is important. A real man won't let their child, especially son, stay dependent. Good statement, Edward.
Come on, Danny. That's a good one.
I like it.
The second part says, and if so, how do I break that to him without breaking him? Read that before you comment. How do I break it to him without breaking him? Because my mindset is that he's a boy. You go to him, you say, hey, it's time. Catch up.
Son.
Hey,
you got to go.
Hey, we're designed to be able to handle a little bit more. And if you keep coddling him or cuddling him or try to bring everything soft to him, he will never handle the real world.
Right.
You know. he got to be able to say, look, hey, you got to get up out of here because
I love you, Sebastian, but you got to go.
So in my stage play, one of the characters is a lady who is well in her 50s, and she has a son who's in his 30s. He's still trying to have a rap career, and her complaint in my story, of course I wrote it, but her complaint in the story is she can't buy the things that she wants to buy, like with her church members go somewhere special. She wants to go buy a dress or something like that, or take the trips and everything else because he's not working. He's trying to be a rapper.
Okay.
Sucking up all of her money, et cetera, et cetera. So since John is checked in, we're going to give this to John. Welcome, John. John, is there a time that a child should move on from his mother? And if so, how does she break that to him without breaking him? Come on, Blue Chocolate. Everybody put your hands together.
Blue Chocolate.
Yeah, there is a time that he should move on. I don't think an abrupt. I think there should have been some lead in to this time. You know what I mean?
She should have been telling him. She should have given him a date. Said, listen, you're finna be 27.
Case in point,
in June.
The viewer that we have that gave the 4 C's, because all of those variables mean something. Change, challenge, all of that, because change is not readily received.
Daniel said, "Hi, Blue Chocolate."
So let's see. Jeremiah last. He's gonna be real smart. KC.
Yes.
How should she break it to him?
You know, my answer is she's going to have to just be truthful, straight up, and tell him, you know, she can give him a timeline. Like John said, she can give him a timeline. I need you to work on 5 months, 6 months, whatever that I need you, you know, but this is what is going to have to happen.
It's good. So let's look at this one, and I'm going to move real quick. Eulalia asked you, I'm asking you since you said it, Casey. You are saying all of that,
hey,
all that about the boys. What do you say about the girls? Baby girl, she gotta go too. You know, not in I don't have daughters. Now, I don't have biological daughters, but my biological daughter can stay in my house till she's 72. You know, in my thoughts, you know, you know, it's
you gotta know. You have to know your child.
You gotta know your child.
My daughter, you have to know your child. My daughter's 24 years old. I'm being quiet. She can't go nowhere right now. She got to stay here.
My wife said, Sandra, she silenced you, John? Blue Chocolate.
I didn't know who
she shut Blue Chocolate down. That's all right.
Hey, no, my daughter, she can't go on her own. She got to stay here for a while.
She got to stay there for, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Know your child.
Let me end this session with David. David says, simply set expectations and guidelines with deadlines and deliverables. I'm going to say it again because I like it. All right. Simply set expectations and guidelines with deadlines and deliverables. Means I have an expectation of you. Okay, I said that was going to kill it.
Even with that though, Mike, expectations have got to be set beforehand.
Listen, I don't have daughters, John. But David agrees with me. David says my baby girl can stay till she 100. It's one. I'm gonna give you the guidelines and the deadlines and the deliverables. But your deliverables for my daughter. Now hear me. I don't have a daughter, but if I did, the deliverables for my daughter is, baby, whenever you ready. Deliverables.
Deliverables?
Yeah, that means this is the date. This is the date that you need. My boys, I raise them completely different. You need to be a man so that because one day you're gonna have to take care of the household. So there are expectations I have from you.
So
let me tell you what the literature says.
Be taken care of.
Let me tell you what the literature says.
What you say? You raising a daughter to be taken care of?
Absolutely.
Wait, that's a whole nother show.
If you are in a relationship, you need to be with a man that can care for you.
Let me tell you what the literature says.
You come stay with me.
I'm kicking everybody out the house. At 5.
So listen, I want to address this. Go ahead with your statement.
the literature says that after high school, your children graduate from high school. The literature says once they go off, they leave the home. The further they go, the more successful they are in their long life. So whether it's
Come on, talk about it.
military, college, whatever it is, when they leave the home, the further they go, the more independent, more successful they get. They become. Go ahead.
My daughter should have went to school in doggone Germany, Africa. That's far. She probably would have been a better.
So listen, folks, it's 8:28, and I've got about 6 more questions. I'm open. Y'all open to the other 6?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's money.
Jeremiah want to get back on that money, man.
Listen, I've got about 6 more questions. If you want to stay out and hang out with us a little bit, put a 1 in the chat box. Put a 1 in the comment box if you want us to address the other questions. Give me a 1, and then we'll decide what to do from that point. While they are telling us, I'll use the last 2 minutes to talk about this. Let's see. Let me find it. Give me a second.
Let's go back to the mama.
Hold on. Hang on.
Hey, while he doing all this, everybody watching out, don't forget to go to the Male Voice, because, hey, we got some good old merchandise. See my new shirt and Mike's shirt? This right here is real nice. So get your stuff. Get your stuff. We got to pay bills.
Get your stuff. So here's the deal. Lady says, a man has a good woman. She works hard. She cooks. She cleans. She do everything that a woman's supposed to do. She's not stingy when it comes to grown-up stuff in the bedroom.
All right.
Why is it so important for a man to risk losing it all? Why is it so important for a man to risk losing it all?
Because men only think with one thing that women say they do. That's what that women say. We think with one thing.
I have an answer for this. I have a bona fide answer for this that probably even none of you have actually even thought about, but I have a bona fide answer for that.
Because you like attention and we
I have an argument. I have an argument.
Come on with your argument.
Well, my argument is going to get me in trouble, so y'all go ahead.
Don't be scared. This is the Male Voice, bro. Don't be scared.
Well, I think going all the way back to the Egypt and Sandal days, men were allowed to have several wives, like it was their custom.
Bro,
so
it's 2020. You better not do it.
I know. No, I know it. But
depends on what state.
But when you say when it comes to all men are dogs, it just comes natural. I just feel like going all the way back to the Sandals in Egypt days, you can have more wives as long as you took care of them.
He said it's not important. And to be honest, at this point, he is not a man, but a boy. Boys play, men stay. Elia says greed. Okay, well, we let him say that. So everybody got, okay, so here's my statement. And because we're in separate locations, I don't care how mad you get at me. Sweetheart, the reason why a man can have absolutely everything that you think he needs, but still cheat. And ladies, y'all can't argue with me because you've never been a man. But here's why. You said all the perfect things that a woman should do, cook, clean, all the good stuff that you said. But what you did not say is you didn't challenge him. A man has to be challenged, or he's going to go find a challenge. That's why men love the chase so much. If you don't allow him to chase you, you're going to end up chasing him. I'm going to say that again. If you don't allow him to chase you, you're going to end up chasing him. Men love a challenge. So that means you are trained to do everything that you were supposed to do for a man. However, they didn't teach you that sometimes studding up a little bit is going to help you. In other words, let me give an example. He's so used to coming home every day with his food cooked and his bath water ran. Sometimes when he comes home and say, baby, what's for dinner? You should say, oh, baby, whatever you cook. Challenge him. Give him something to just twist his mind up a little bit. Now, the preacher says it like this. What's his name? TJ says it like this. Every man has 2 people in it. You either have the fool or you got the king. Which one you speak to is the one that's going to respond to you. So I'm not saying act a fool with him. I'm saying you have to challenge him, or he's going to find a challenge.
That boy hit that knowledge, boy. That boy hit that knowledge, boy. That's my dog right there. That's my dog. That's my dog.
Challenge him. I'm saying you've got to challenge him. So if you don't, he's gonna find it. He's gonna find it.
You just messed up on one thing. You messed up on one thing when you said I come home from work and ask what's for dinner. That food ain't cooked. You said everything else was good, but boy, that food ain't ready. I'm hungry. No, for real though.
And here's the other thing to consider.
Mike,
When you guys are sending in questions, you have to be careful not to use the word man loosely, because chronological numbers doesn't make a person a man.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure
Somebody turn down if you're playing on the background, that's coming through. Like if you're watching one of us brothers, turn that down because it's like it's echoing.
Yeah. All right.
All right. I'm sorry, Mike. Go back to the question. I didn't want to.
No, you're gone. I'm done with that question. I'm actually moving on. I'm looking for the next question.
I think Norm was gonna say.
Oh, here it is. Next question is, can this topic be related to dating? Can I move? Somebody's giving me feedback. That means you got on your phone and your laptop or something, because we're getting
us, not me.
Right, it's one of us. Can this topic be related to dating? Can I move on without a conversation or an explanation, or is that wrong? Can I move on without a comment, without a conversation or an explanation, or is that wrong?
It's never right to move on without any sort of explanation. You know, sometimes people say that because they don't want a conflict, but communication is always you're being unfair to yourself and to them without communicating, because communication is something that's necessary in every vital aspect of our lives. So you can't just move on without saying nothing.
Right.
So what's the deal with ghosting? Ghosting is a thing nowadays. Whereas, I mean,
a lot of stuff nowadays is trash.
But I don't think we have nobody on here that's like 21 to 24 on here. They do all that stuff. Everybody about 30 on up ain't ghosted nobody. I don't think really. They gonna give an explanation. A grown woman and a grown man gonna give an explanation. I would.
That's lack of principles, lack of integrity to just ghost.
You and your wife agree. She says it's not wrong. Well, nope, that's not her. She says it's not wrong. That's a lack of character to me.
Yeah.
I personally believe, let's see, Ashley says this. Ashley says it's best to have closure. But if the environment is not welcoming to change, move on. Okay. I think that you do have to have, well, I guess you all said that. You do have to have that conversation. It's not all that says you should or you have to or you must, but you do. You should have the conversation. I like the way Marlena puts it. She says cowards do that.
Oh!
Unless you're in a physically abusive relationship or something to that nature, you know, if you're getting physically abused, yeah, you need to ghost. Yeah, you need to go. Yeah, you might need to disappear in the middle of the night, you know, not to be found. But, you know, in
have a conversation.
Yeah.
I think there's
DC. I want to hear that noise you made again when Marlena's comment comes on. It says coward.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the next one. Y'all, everybody all right? Everybody said they was hanging on. Seems to be everybody's hanging on. But here's the next question.
Good.
Okay, honestly, I can't move on. I'm still in love. What now? Yes, he's moved on and secretly in a relationship, but I'm still here hoping he returns.
I know she's stalking.
Hold on.
I know now she is sitting outside his house like this with a hoodie in the car looking like this. That a nigga is. That is. You's a stalker. You's a crazy stalker. You need help. Jeremiah, help her.
No, listen. So, yes, he moved on and secretly in a relationship. So he's secretly in a relationship with
how you know?
Dawn, and she's still here, meaning she's there physically. Maybe they're having sex, and she's hoping that he comes all the way to a commitment. That's how I took it.
She is crazy. She is crazy. We got some. She's crazy. You crazy.
Ma'am, I don't know you personally, but that's not healthy. That's not a thing that you're doing. And as we tell to everybody else, come on, audience, do what we always do. Everybody, type therapy in the comments. Type therapy. She's gonna need
Yeah.
Pete, you need help. You need Jesus
Therapy
and
is
therapy.
Therapy.
She's
Yeah.
outside right now.
And
Sniffing his
because
trash can, going through his drawers and the trash. She crazy.
yeah.
Let
So,
it go.
Looking at his
here's
social media.
Here's another one. I honestly wasn't expecting these types of questions off of this topic. However, these kind of questions
keep it going.
got me. Ashley says, "Let go and let let go and let God."
She trying to sing a church song. She in there singing.
Listen, everybody's typing therapy. Marlena Mack. Then we're gonna move from this. She says, "Wait, she must know he's cheating and don't want her, but she don't want to move on." Now, get off your ass. See, now here's what David said. David said, when you don't get closure, you create situations like this.
Like this. Yeah.
So,
bro.
And can I say something?
Yeah,
Mike?
you good.
I think this came up, but once anybody, female or male, once that individual emotionally detaches from the relationship, it's over. It's nothing that you can do to try to grab them because they've already, I think somebody said something about mentally leaving while still being in.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. You're going to be on autopilot at the house, but, you know, you're just kind of going along about everything, going with the wind. But emotionally, that person has detached. They no longer have any level of concern about that individual as it relates to the relationship because they've tied in somewhere else. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're in a relationship, but they have directed that energy and that attention elsewhere. And it's not coming back your way.
Statement.
Nothing you can do.
She crazy.
Good statement. Sandra says, is he leading her on? That's a good question, Sandra, because just because he might still be tipping in, what's the song, cheating in the next room.
Yeah.
He might still be creeping at night. So that's a good question. We don't know if he's leading.
Well, at some point, you can't be naive.
At the same time, right?
Right.
You know, I think a person is square about if he said to her, "I'm not interested. I'm moving on. I'm going on, whatever." What he does after that point is not her concern. She's got to accept the fact he has chosen to move on.
Right.
Well, okay, fellas. This is what he said, flat out. Let's see who wants this. Let's go. This is gonna be KC. Okay, fellas, I really want this lady, and she knows this. We tried dating, and it was a great date. We hadn't spoken since then. I saw her out with another guy. Should I call her or just move on?
Move on. I couldn't wait. No, I couldn't wait. Move on.
Man.
It was a great day for her.
Come on, Kermit. Give him a word, Doc.
What you got, Doc?
Give him a word, Doc.
What that mean, Doc?
Move on. Move on.
Hey, time out. This dude here, he said it was a great. Hey, Sebastian just told me to tell your ass, move on. He ain't number 2 years old. He said move on. He trying to hold on to it.
It was a great day.
Real quick. This is pretty intense because it don't sound like, oh, buddy, y'all went on one date, so there was no, I don't know if there was sex involved, but the first date, like, how special was it to where you struggling with moving on this soon?
He felt it was good. She was fine. She
Something
was
was
looking good. He spent
Having
some money.
Brick house.
He never
check
had
out some of the comments. The comments, Ashley Patrick says, no. Sandra says, move on. Vanessa says, move on. Carolyn says, let it go.
Please.
Lalia, where'd you go? Let's see. Wait, I lost it.
What my wife said.
Lalia says he can call her if she is not in a committed relationship. I'm coming back to you, Lalia, because he probably, we're going to talk about that one. Anyways, Miss Lady Dove says, move on. She may not be into you like that. Natisha says it was good for you, but not her.
Thank you.
Ooh, y'all
Eulalia
cold.
says,
Y'all tough.
but he
Y'all
but
too
he
tough.
should call her and see what's up. Then he can get closure.
Hold on.
Come
After
on, Mike.
one
What do
day,
you say,
it
Mike?
was
What
just
do you
one
say,
day.
Mike? Come on, Mike. What you say,
Listen.
Mike?
You can't
If
get the picture.
I don't see the reason of calling her if you've seen her out with another dude. What you calling her for?
But wait, Mike. Wait,
No.
Mike. You just said, Mike. You just said a man likes a challenge.
Yeah, he likes a challenge, but that ain't no challenge. That's
Me
defeat.
on the other end, I'm not chasing nothing but a check. I'm chasing a check. I ain't chasing now female. Not me.
Listen,
Challenge
I
or
mean,
not,
I can
I'm
get
not
that.
chasing.
I mean, I can get that.
the word is different though.
But look,
Uh,
the key indicator here was they
the key
haven't
indicator here. No, I'm sorry.
The key indicator.
They had spoken sense, right?
They
Right.
had not spoken since, and he
they
just
have not
happened to see her.
sense. That is the key detail right there. How great was the first date? Y'all haven't spoken since?
He said it must not have been great to her.
Let me hold on. Let me go to the word. Let me go to the word.
Uh-oh.
Deuteronomy 1.
What the word say? Move on.
Deuteronomy 1
Turn
and 1.
with me.
Say, move on.
Turn with me to the book of Teddy P. The book of Teddy P. The book of Teddy P says,
Tell me what blue chocolate say.
I think I better let it go.
Looks like another
Seems
love.
like another love.
Okay, guys, we got another question. The question is, my friend and I got into an argument at work about away from work stuff. Neither of us have moved on yet. The tension is very high. I want to move on, but my pride won't allow me to even talk to her.
She probably feels the same way. She probably feels the same way, ma'am.
Yeah.
So whatever, OSKC. Yeah. Okay. So
that's simple. Same way. Next question.
Move on.
Move on.
Move on. We ain't worried about. We're not doing drama tonight. Okay. Here we go. This one is kind of crazy. Okay, male voice. I fought the ex. And I feel bad because we still have to raise their kids. In my opinion, she's a horrible mother, and I told her that, which is why I was fighting, I'm sure. Now my husband is mad at me because of how she acts towards him getting the kids.
What's the key indicator in this one? Their kids. Their kids. Okay.
Right.
So that right there is an issue. Okay. I mean, yeah, these are kids living in y'all's house or living with the mother.
From my understanding of what she wrote, remember, guys, I have to paraphrase a lot of this because it only allows me so many characters.
Okay.
But what she wrote in the initial email, the kids live with them in their home. No, the kids live with their mother.
Oh, okay.
But now she's acting funny about letting kids come over because the new wife and her had a fight because the new wife told her that
she was a horrible mother.
And she said that because of the way she allows the kids to come to their house. She says sometimes they're not clean, the clothes are too small or something like that. So when the opportunity came, she told her, you're a horrible mother, and she punched in her mouth because you're talking to me like that about my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to handle it different. Now I'm gonna go to the Bible for real. All things are lawful but are not expedient.
Right.
Some things you just need to keep to yourself. You know what I mean? Especially if you know it's gonna give your husband a problem. Don't. Some stuff is not worth it. Let him take care of those.
Let him take care of it.
Yeah. Talk to him.
All right, I got a question. I want to know who won the fight. So whoever won the fight, that's whose side you be on. Because that's who ride or die with you. Who won the fight?
Eulalia says the best comment right here so far. Eulalia says, but that's not her place. So it's not.
Absolutely.
What if she meant it as a encouragement time? Like, hey, you know.
No.
That doesn't even matter.
You telling me you horrible? That ain't no encouragement.
Yeah.
Let's look at some of these comments real quick. Let's see. She got that Eddie V's and skated. Okay, I'm lost, Erica. Help me out. That's the date. That's the date. I'm sorry. You're right. That's the date. Let's see. Okay, well, that's the old date too. Okay, your lady is silly. She said, "Oh, she put them hands on him."
I would like. Who won the fight? Who won the
Ashley
fight?
says that's the situation.
Who
Lady
won
says
the
that
fight?
was not a wise decision,
No.
but that's not her place.
Definitely.
Let's see. Okay, y'all are still coming. So I get lost. I'm coming back. Hang on with me. Hang on.
Who won the fight?
Mother,
So
but
you
that's
gonna
not
ride
her
down
place. Let the husband, the teacher says, let the husband handle that. And the KBS says, no, no, no. Children are to be accepted from the get-go. The stepmom needs to be more grown about, I act like I can't read. No, no, no. Children are to be accepted from the get-go. The stepmom needs to be more grown about this kind of situation. Y'all listen, why y'all get on them relations while they're fighting? Here's the issue. Here's the issue. As a
Why would they fight?
situation, stay out of trouble waters. You have to do your part regardless to support your husband. Your lady would make me sick.
She got
If he can deal with them funky kids.
She got speed typing.
Go to bed, baby. Go to bed. Go to bed. Go to timeout.
So listen, if indeed, what's wrong with her telling, at least having a talk with her? You know, the kids are nasty, the kids are dirty, the kids ain't got the clothes that the.
It's automatically going to be a problem, Mike, because first of all, she is her ex's new wife. Mm-hmm. That's already ex. She don't want to talk to you. If y'all ain't got that kind of relationship already, which most likely most of the time you don't, she don't want to hear no advice. She don't want to even have no comment. She probably don't even want to see you, let alone not happy that you have her ex. So whether they worked out or not, you know.
They probably sharing.
Okay.
You've been on this sharing tip all night long, John.
They probably sharing.
Yeah, you've been on
That's probably where the tension is. See, the tension is rising from somewhere.
From somewhere.
Yeah, they probably sharing.
She says, have extra clothes for the kids at your house for the kids. You know,
there you go.
Well, it depends on the time that they've been married. I would think that my new wife would want to go have some clothes or something for the kids when they come there, because even at the end of the day, they're a reflection of you when you're out with them. You can't say, "Mama sent them like that."
Could that be a spiteful thing? No. That she did spitefully, like sending them. I'm gonna make sure they don't eat. So when they come to you, they hungry as I don't know what. So now you got to go buy them stuff because we ain't ate nothing. You know, yeah, you go let your daddy spend his money. You know,
it does happen.
Yeah. Thank you all for staying over with us. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot going on. There were a lot of questions that I had to move on for the sake of time. We can revisit those, and we probably will when we get. Y'all, make sure that you are not going broke for Christmas. Don't go and spend all that money. Get a piece of paper and draw them a note or something like that. Guys, what you got? Close me out.
Send some of it to the Male Voice Cash App.
There you go.
Say it again.
He said,
I said, or they can send some of that money to the Male Voice Cash App.
You can absolutely send some money to the Male Voice Cash App. Y'all, we've got some big things coming up, and we are going to solicit. Listen, you can buy any of this gear that we have on. We have lots of Male Voice t-shirts and hoodies. We've got masks. We've got hats. We've got beanies. We've got
in all different colors.
Stuff. And if you're interested in any of it, just reach out to the Male Voice person that you know the best, and they'll get us the orders. The orders will come in, and we'll get you how to pay. If you choose, we've had some people to just choose to sow money into us, and we really appreciate that vote of confidence. So if you choose to do that, you can do that at cash, that $, the Male Voice. $, the Male Voice. $, the Male Voice. If you choose to do that, we appreciate that. If you want to buy a shirt, shirts come in all colors. If you want to buy a hoodie, those come in all colors, because we're doing something great, and we appreciate y'all. Make sure that you all have the right to say, I was with them when they first started. You want to say that you will be able to say, I was with them when they first started, when your other friends and loved ones catch on to us on certain networks. The end of that. What do you got, KC? You want to give them a closing remark?
I just want to say, as it relates to just our topic, our main topic tonight about moving on. Sometimes moving on is hard. Sometimes you have to make some tough choices, and you may have to let go of some people that per se you love. You have to move on for some people that you love. But when you're doing something for the better. Yeah, Jerry, I want to get back to that money. When you're doing something for the better, for your betterment, I can't be any good to anybody else unless I'm good and better myself. So if you got to make a choice to move on and revisit it later on, do what you have to do. Because a wise man once said, if you are the smartest person in your circle, you need another circle.
You definitely do.
Oh,
appreciate you, KC. Let's see who's going next. What do you got, Jeremiah?
Man, I can't backdoor that, man.
You gonna bring up that money? That's what
Jeremiah want to talk about that money, man.
Hey, y'all, Jeremiah Rankins with Minor to Major, where we help people turn their minor setbacks into major comebacks. I want to just send a friendly reminder for everyone to seek out therapy before it gets at its worst. Seek out therapy before it gets bad. Be proactive, not reactive to anything in our life. I want you to pour into your own cup. And this isn't for me, so y'all can help me pay for my bills or anything like that. Go find you a therapist that you want to talk to, that you identify with, that you feel like can best help you and meet your needs. And thank y'all for showing up and coming out and leaving comments for us to feed off of. Thank you.
Appreciate you. I think it was you, Lelia, that gave you the tag earlier. You, Lelia, can you type that again? It's Minor to Major. His stuff ain't that smart.
www.minortomajortx.com.
minortomajortx.com. Okay. John White, you got some closing words?
First of all, thank everyone for coming on with us tonight. I'm like Jeremiah. Thank you for all of your comments and questions. Thank you for your time, because your time is so valuable. Mm-hmm. Here's a word about moving on. Sometimes we can lose people not because we've done something wrong to them, but because of what God is doing in us.
Listen, I'm sorry, John. You're gonna have to repeat that, because KC started playing the organ, and I could off track.
Well, the preacher is giving closing remarks.
I said sometimes we can lose people, you can lose relationships, lose friendships, not because of what you have done to them, but because what God is doing in you. Sometimes God is changing you, and if God is changing you, just allow the change. And if those people who are watching you, know the old you, used to date the old you, are not ready for the new you who God is making you into, then God has some new people for you.
Yeah, man. That's good again. That's good. DC, what you and Sebastian got for us?
What's up, everybody? Hey, check this out. I'm gonna be, I'm not spiritual, but everything. I thank everybody for following the Male Voice. We've been, some of y'all don't know, this is not our first rodeo. We've done one show back in the days, and Mike had brought everybody back again. So 2021 is gonna be big, and for the Male Voice, and we want y'all to keep on following us, sharing our videos, telling a friend, because these are guys and men, pastors and preachers and a comedian and a counselor who really have something to say, and it's touching people's lives. We get crazy comments every day, and we thank all y'all for all the comments and everything. So let's make 2021 a big time and get the merchandise, because it takes money to pay these bills. Because Mike is the head of this, and we need to keep going to the next level. Look at these black men. Look at these black men with family doing this.
Man, shout out to John Decker too, man.
And we miss someone. John Decker's on the road. He's working hard, and he comes in and do stuff. So I thank Mike for doing this, his vision, and the Male Voice, and everybody on here. So my thing is, hey, do you? Because we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna come real, and we're gonna come hard, and you might not like it, but that's the truth.
Listen, folks, you can always send your comments or your questions or your concerns to us anytime during the week. They are not broadcasted. And so when I get them, sometimes if you say you want to see your name, then we'll put your name on it. Other than that, we will not know who you are. You can send those topics to tmvtalk@gmail.com. That's tmvtalk@gmail.com. And as I always say, I appreciate you. Every week we jump on and we give our point of views about different topics. And we don't know if you agree or disagree. Nonetheless, we're going to be real, we're going to be raw, and we're going to be mellow. I can't even talk. Let's do it again. We're going to be real.
Relevant.
We're going to be raw, and we're going to be relevant.
Relevant.
Voice, we will see you next week. And I see the number is still there that you're hanging on. Listen, I'm not finna sit there and talk to y'all all night.
There's some music though.
So listen, we appreciate y'all, man. Thank you very, 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 very much. Again, this has been another The Male Voice, and we'll be back next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't miss it because it's going to be live. Real, raw, and relevant. As I said, it's The Male Voice. Good night.
Peace. I blew a kiss.
You